Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Wednesday the 18th of June. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. Measles continues to circulate in Hamilton, and while still largely associated with Fraser High School, there is a single confirmed case at both Hamilton Girls High School and Hamilton Junior High School. Waikato District Health Board's Population Health Service has confirmed 53 measles cases to date in recent weeks, with a significant number associated to Fraser High School. Of those 53 cases, 3 have been hospitalised but are now well, and only 1 had been immunised with 2 documented doses of the MMR vaccine, and 2 cases had received 1 documented dose of MMR. Hamilton Girls High School Principal Marie Gordon said the school has responded quickly to the 1 confirmed case linked to the school, acting upon DHB advice and withdrawing from all cultural, sport and music activities for the remainder of Term 2. Anyone displaying symptoms of measles, which include fever, cough, blocked nose, sore red eyes and a small dotty rash, should immediately phone their doctor or healthline on 0800 611 116 for advice. Almost 2 years to the day after Paeroa restaurant owner Jordan Vidiris was killed, police are appealing for anyone with information that could lead to an arrest to come forward. Mr Vidiris' body was found on the footpath behind his popular Paeroa pizza place, Mykonos, and police investigators believe the key to solving the crime remains with the public. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Waihi CIB or anonymously with Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. To fluoride or not to fluoride? That question won't be answered this week in Hamilton, as the fluoride interim hearing has been delayed until Thursday the 26th of June. The hearing was initially scheduled for this Friday but has had to be moved due to the availability of the High Court judge. The interim hearing is around Safe Water Alternative New Zealand Incorporation's application to stop fluoridation of Hamilton's water supply until the court case has taken place. If Swan's application is refused, fluoridation of the city's water supply will resume as soon as practical, which is expected to be around 7 days after the court decision has been made. Taking a look at the marine forecast now. Raglan, southwest expected of 30 knots with a rough sea, southwest swell rising to 3 metres, northwest swell of 2 metres dying out with a poor visibility and a few showers. High tide tomorrow morning, 2:37 a.m. Bay of Plenty expect a westerly of 25 knots with a rough sea, northerly swell 2 metres easing. Fair visibility and occasional showers should ease this evening. High tide 14 minutes to midnight tonight. Still to come on Central News, we find out about the black beetle and speak with a Sir Edmund Hillary scholar. That's next on Central News. Kia ora, welcome back to Central News. For the New Zealand agricultural industry to successfully maintain profitability, our pastures need to be as clean and green as they can be. Ag Research are doing their best to stay one ahead of the bugs, beetles and moths that can eradicate pasture and cost money. I spoke with Ag Research scientist Colin Ferguson at the field days last week to find out what are some of the major pests in the Waikato. Colin, what are some of the major pests in the Waikato that we need to be aware of?
Look, there are a number of pests, so we've got things like soldier fly, grass scrub, etc. But by far and away the most serious one is black beetle. That would be the one, the single insect which is causing most trouble up here this year and certainly for the last couple of years.
What does the black beetle do?
Well, basically it takes your grasses out of pasture, reduces your production, reduces the profitability on farm. So in effect you're grazing animals that have got no money in it for the farmers, so we want to get rid of them or at least manage them in some way.
Is it an eradication program or more of a management?
It's a bit of both, really. These insects are very, very hard to eradicate. In fact, once they're established, we're never going to eradicate them. So we really do get into a management situation where we're trying to reduce numbers to as low a level as possible, something that the farmers can live and farm with.
Now, what are some other pests that we need to be aware of, perhaps that are emerging?
Well, the most serious one, I think, is plantain moth, or plantain moths as we should be referring to. Plantain's a relatively new crop. It's becoming very popular in the North Island and in the South Island, and we're finding that there's a lot of fairly obscure insects that are becoming serious pest issues in there. So we've got at least 2 species of caterpillars which are causing major damage, probably another 2 species which are causing some sort of damage, and we're not sure of the extent of that at the moment. Plus we've got a couple of weevil species which are getting into plantain. And as I said, these are quite obscure insects. We don't know very much about them. We've got a lot of work to do just to understand their basic biology, understand how we can manage and control these.
Where have the pests come from?
Well, the pests come from all over the place. Some of our most significant pests, grass grub and piranha, are New Zealand native insects. Something like black beetle, that's come from South Africa. The plantain moths, the caterpillars of those, we're not entirely certain. They may be natives, but they may also be species that have come from Australia and come into the country very early in the European colonisation days. We're really uncertain about that one at the moment.
For more details, check out their new website, pestweb.co.nz. Christy Bailey is a young woman from the Piako district who is more than your average sporty Kiwi. She's studying towards an honours degree, preparing for a trip to Nepal, and she has a serious athletic training schedule. She spoke recently with Amanda.
Hi Christy, welcome to the studio. Can you please tell me about your athletic career?
Well, I guess athletics for me has really been just a lot about running around in circles and back and forth, I guess chasing the times, but I guess I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that I get to go out and do what I really enjoy each day, and that's training for athletics, so I'm pretty lucky in that sense really.
Yes, you are. So how old were you when you first got into athletics?
It was about sixth form. I guess I was fairly late compared to a lot of other athletes in my early childhood years. I sort of focused more on netball and I guess stumbled into athletics later on in high school.
Now you are now part of the Commonwealth Games squad, but as a non-travelling reserve for the 4x400 metre relay team. What does this opportunity mean for your career?
Oh, well, it's pretty exciting just to be even considered part of the wider squad. I had a pretty disappointing season earlier this year, so to even be considered and potentially up for selection was just a huge thing for me. So I guess I'm pretty fortunate to be included, and I guess it's just a taste of what I hope to be in next time round.
Yeah, so do you have to do any extra training even though you might not make it to Glasgow?
So it's highly likely that I won't be going. So in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be heading back to my winter base training. But I guess there's always the potential that I could get that phone call. And so I guess I would have to be prepared to sort of switch things up a little bit and be back into competition mode should I be needed.
So if someone injures themselves, will you be stepping up into that role?
Yeah, so as the next non-travelling reserve, 7th on the list, I'm the next one to fill the spot should anything happen to one of the girls.
Okay, which would be unfortunate, but then also fortunate for you personally.
It would be hugely unfortunate. I definitely don't wish that upon anyone, so yeah, it's kind of fingers crossed that I'm not going for their sake.
Maybe next Commonwealth Games you can get into the squad properly anyway. So what is your training regime like, and how do you balance that with studying towards a Bachelor of Social Science honours degree?
So yeah, training's sort of a daily sort of thing for me. Sometimes it can be twice daily. So it's about managing, eating, sleeping, studying around training. And I guess for me, I kind of always put training first because that's sort of my main thing. I guess I'm a firm believer that it's kind of not doing something if you're not going to give it your all. So that's sort of my focus, and everything else I wouldn't say fit around it, it's probably more crammed around it, the best that I can make it.
So do you get much of a social life?
Not really, not by the sort of standard definition, but I guess, when I do get the chance to have a little bit of a break, it's more about taking that moment to kind of refresh and recuperate and then go again for the next intense phase.
Now, being a Sir Edmund Hillary Scholar must have its perks. How has this benefited with your studies?
Being part of the scholarship has been just a huge thing for me. It's I guess it's not just a scholarship, it's a program that's aimed at sort of creating and further developing the scholars as a whole well-rounded person, as opposed to just focusing on sort of the academic or maybe their sporting or creative and performing arts side. So for me, there's sort of a huge support from the university. It's recognised, and it's been really useful with lecturers and tutors understanding that as scholars we are trying to pursue sort of many endeavours, so especially with competitions, they have that sort of understanding and sort of have a little bit of leniency and sort of help us in terms of, structuring assignments and stuff around those sort of key dates.
Great to see another high-achieving young woman from the Piako district. Christy Bailey is certainly someone to keep an eye on. Still to come, I speak with tractor pull contestants at the Field Days. Amanda chats with a local musician. And up next, I catch up with Sir William Gallagher on Central News. Kia ora, welcome back to Central News. Field Days have been and gone for another year and are often used as an indicator of the New Zealand economy in general. I spoke with CEO of Gallagher Limited, Sir William Gallagher, who's never missed a Field Days, to hear his thoughts. Sir William, the agricultural industry is often used as a barometer for the New Zealand economy. Where do you see us sitting on that scale at the moment?
Oh, probably, pretty right up there, I guess. We've had a couple of brilliant months in New Zealand. Amazingly, when the dairy price was the highest, it was pretty flat, or growing very slowly. But this last 2 months has come away nicely, despite the price going down. But the long-term prospects are looking excellent.
What's the general outlook and feeling in the industry at the moment?
Oh, I think that the long-term view's looking really good. You've got India and China. Living standards are coming up, particularly in China, and the desire for protein is growing very fast. In fact, the growth in protein in China each year is about New Zealand's total production. So we're going to see the prices. It goes up in steps. And we're having a little flat step right now, but that'll be short term. There's no doubt it's going up. And as we get freer trade in agriculture, this TPP free trade agreement will be a great thing for New Zealand. That'll give us access, duty-free access, especially if Japan joins. Span joining is pretty radical stuff. But anyway, the world is moving in that direction, and that's really good for New Zealand, particularly New Zealand farmers.
Where does New Zealand sit agricultural-wise on a global scale?
Animal farming, probably number one in low-cost animal farming. We're not in the arable. That's Australia and South America. They've got very big arable lands. But when it comes to efficient, low-cost animal farming, New Zealand's number one. In fact, I say New Zealand's one of the few societies where we've got a Western standard of living based on unsubsidised agriculture, and that's pretty unique.
What's the biggest challenge, in your opinion, facing the agricultural industry at the moment?
Oh, efficiency and productivity. The continuing productivity improvement. Ag Hub, which has been a group formed in Waikato, and the aim was of doubling production before 2025. So that's doubling output in the next 10 years. And that's all possible. If Mr. Average Farmer came up to Mr. Top 10%, we'd nearly be there. So it's really extension, productivity. We have a lot of our new products this year in the animal identification, the readers, etc., and upgrading some of our TSI. Some of this technology, really, the aim is to improve productivity.
Well, I've got to ask the question, since we are at Field Days, what is your favourite exhibit and site here? Oh,
I think this Gallagher site's pretty good. I might be a little biased, but but the team and these days I'm fortunate. I saw it for the first time this morning. I haven't, I've got plenty of things going on. So I've got a really good team, and I'm very proud of the effort they made to make this stand look like it is. It is super.
Your team has got a very good leader as well. Sir William Gallagher, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
You can find out more about Gallagher Limited and Sir William at gallagher.co. It's been a couple of years since Scotty Stone has featured on Central News, and the Hamilton-based muso has been upped to plenty. Amanda spoke to him about what he's been doing.
Welcome back. Last time you were here, you were the lead singer of a band. Now, however, you're on your own. What have you been up to in the last 2 years?
Oh, a lot. Travelling around, playing gigs, playing weddings, a little bit of writing, working towards a solo project.
Excellent. Can you tell us about the solo project?
It's a bit more stripped back, a bit more acoustic. Still got the full drums and bass and stuff, but yeah, but stripped back, just trying to keep it to the acoustic guitar, and leave more room to breathe.
Yeah, excellent. You have your beautiful voice coming out there, yeah?
Thanks.
So being in a band compared to being out on your own, which do you prefer?
It has it's 50-50. It has its, it's hard to work with a band sometimes. It's hard to get four minds working on the same creative track, so in that sense it's easier going solo, but even still solo you need a backing band behind you, so it's still got to have a good group of guys that are keen to play along with that.
Yeah, and you've got a good group of guys behind you at the moment?
Yeah, I do at the moment, yeah. I've got a great group of guys.
Excellent. So would you ever consider making that a band, or you prefer to be Scotty Stone?
Without sounding too, I'd like to keep it just the Scotty Stone thing, but obviously it'll be like Scotty Stone and such and such,
Yeah, and are you still doing your duet work as well?
Yeah, I've got a duo at the moment with a mate of mine, TJ. And we're doing a little acoustic duo available for weddings and all sorts.
Yeah. Now I understand you were based in Raglan for a little bit there, but you have relocated back to Hamilton. How would you compare playing in the city as opposed to smaller towns?
Prefer the city. I didn't actually get too much playing in Raglan. It was more of a retreat as such for a little bit. But yeah, I love the city life. I love the city breathes music, it always does, but so does the coast as well. So the coast is good for writing and the city's good for producing, I think.
Yeah, excellent. And so what type of gigs do you play? You have mentioned a couple already.
Yeah, so I do weddings, bar work, parties, 30s, 40th, weddings, divorce parties, you name it, everything.
Divorce parties. And do they require you to do covers or do you do originals?
That's mainly covers work, if people are going to pay you, they want to hear songs that they know and stuff, which is fair enough. So yeah, just anything really that requires entertainment services.
Yeah, and so how can we get in contact with you?
You can just search me up on Facebook, just search Scotty Stone, and on there is all my contact details.
Yeah, and do you have any regular gigs going on at the moment?
Yeah, I've got a little residency where me and TJ are down at a bar called Little George on Hood Street every second Wednesday.
Excellent. Wow. So you heard that. What was it? Little George?
Little George.
Little George every second Wednesday.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so we'll be there next coming Wednesday.
Always good to see young Hamilton musicians making a name for themselves. Up next on Central News, we get loud and dirty with the tractor pull at the field days. Welcome back to Central News. The ever-popular Field Days tractor pull competition was set to be another crowd favourite in 2014. Weather did delay and cancel some racing, but a great time was still had by all. I spoke with tractor pull contestants, father and son team Bill and Mike Raymer, to find out what keeps them coming back year after year. Bill Raymer, how many years have you been competing in the tractor pull?
No, lost count really, but since the early 80s anyhow.
How successful have you been?
Had a couple of wins, one on 84 and one in 2000, so can't complain.
And Mike, obviously you've followed in Dad's footsteps. How many years have you been racing?
Probably about 15 years, I guess, now. So, and been here since I was a kid, knee-high to grasshopper, so watched it all happen, yeah.
Yeah. And how successful have you been?
Oh, I've had a win in the weight transfer when it first come in, and yeah, a couple of close ones, but that's about it. So.
What keeps you coming back year after year?
Oh, the tractor, the smoke, diesel, and the bragging rights for your brand, which tractor's the best.
Would that be the same for you too?
Oh, for sure, yeah. No, it's good competitive spirit there.
Yes. Now, tell me about your tractor. Do you race a standard or a modified?
Oh, we've got a standard tractor, but we've also in our company built a modified tractor, so we'll be sharing that from the next couple of days.
Yes. So tell me about the modified. What brand is it?
It's Massey Ferguson, but it's in the sport class, so it's a standard tractor, but modified to the as extreme as we can afford.
Yeah. And tell me about your modified tractor. What are its specifications?
Okay, well, we started with a 180 horse 6-cylinder Massey Ferguson 3655, and we've taken the injector pump and it's been mixed with the old Bulldozer one, so that's sort of tripled the size of the diesel going in. And then we've got a 500 horsepower truck turbo going into it. So it's drastically increase the horsepower.
Does it blow sparks out the top or anything drastic?
Well, we haven't quite got that far, but it's a lot of black smoke, a lot of smoke, a lot of diesel, so it'll be fun. Puts a smile on everyone's face now.
Now, tractor preparation and modification is taken really seriously. How many months would you say you spend working on the modified tractor?
Oh, it's taken us about a month almost, isn't it? Yeah, around a solid month, yeah. So.
Yeah,
there's a lot of late nights where we've been staying up till 9 o'clock the last week, every night working, and a couple of beers afterwards, and 10 o'clock time you get home. So.
Yeah, well, you've got to fit it in around work as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we started off on afternoon projects every night, but we sometimes had to take the odd day off to get it going.
Tell me about the people you meet on the circuit.
Oh, you meet all sorts of some hard case guys, yeah, and a lot of the guys I meet too are other contractors and stuff. So you're all in the same business, all in the same industry, and it's good catch up. And yeah.
Do you have a game plan?
No, not really. You try and use your experience, but there's a lot more luck factor in it. Like there used to be a lot more skill in the older days where we had run 2-wheel drive tractors, and now with the modern transmissions, it's becomes a lot more luck factor, a lot less skill factor. The only skill now is just in setting it up and right tyre pressures and things like that.
Yeah. So how do you rate your chances this year?
In the standard class, I got a new tractor, and I'm hoping it might work it for me. So, yeah, highly a bit.
If you'd like to find out more about the tractor pull and maybe give it a go yourself next year, go to fielddays.co.nz. Time to take a look at the weather now. Firstly, for the Waikato, Hamilton expect a showery Thursday, frequent in the morning with fresh sou'westies expected, 15 your high, 5 overnight. Paeroa, the same for you, 16 your high with a low of 5. Matamata, you scrape through to 14. Te Awamutu, 15, and Tokerua, the coolest, 12 degrees with a low of 3. Heading over the Kaimai Range now to the Bay of Plenty, with Tauranga expecting morning showers, then a fine day with that sou'westerly becoming strong, 16 degrees expected, and Te Puke, 14 your high, both centres a low of 6 overnight. And that's Central News for today, Wednesday the 18th of June. Make sure you like our Facebook page and let us know if there's news or an event in your community. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you back tomorrow night. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. Ka kite anō.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.